Oh, hi. Welcome to Strong 2 of your Level 1 Breath Master Certification. Thank you for joining me today. How
Mhm.
are you? How was practice? Any questions, any sticking points, any revelations?
Yes, one big revelation because I was watching the your feedback from the videos I sent, and I did not realize my mouth was open. I had no idea. I had no idea my mouth was open. I really thought my mouth was closed.
Mhm.
So it was just interesting to see that and see the critique and be like, oh, I really thought I was only breathing through my nose. So it's definitely and I've been practicing now, really making sure my mouth is shut,
Mhm.
and I see the difference, and it's just really just I just became aware of that. So I was like, wow, I had no idea.
There are a lot of subtle aspects of how we have been conducting ourselves that really put us in different spaces and what have you. And realigning those things, those really, really fine, minute things can really make major differences and stuff. So that really is basically a metaphor for, a whole lot of stuff. So great work. Anything else?
Yes, when I do the breath master technique, I know that I'm going through my belly and then on my sides and then my ribs. Is it okay if I also let it come up to my chest before the exhale?
It's supposed to.
Oh, okay.
The, is-
Okay.
the issue is when you're only doing the upper chest thing. Like I explained,
Okay.
upper chest is stress, anxiety, and all of that stuff, and you don't get the fullness. And since the lungs are triangular in shape, if you're breathing in the upper half, you're only breathing 1/3 of the capacity because the lower part is the broader part. And if you're breathing in the upper third, you're getting like 1/4 of the capacity. So a lot of people, they're breathing and it's only up here. They're not filling the abdomen, so they're not getting the maximum capacity of their lungs. And a lot of people who are athletes and what have you are trained this way. The old adage of stick out that chest, suck in that gut, really is counterintuitive and really just keep you in a stress mode. Now that really has a good uh, premise or good point if you are in a fight or flight scenario, because that's an adage that they had in the military: stick out that chest, suck in that gut, which basically keeps you in a stressful state. And if you're in a war environment, you need to be, in that level. But, in general life, you don't need to have that adrenaline flowing all of the time. So that's why we want to start at, filling from the bottom up, as in any container. You fill a glass, you fill it from the bottom up, not from the top down. And
Mm,
then, the exhalation, emptying it out so that you have more space for oxygen to get in. So that's also the thing of for us, the exponential impact and growth potential of maximizing the breath with this particular simple technique. What else you
um, so I did hear your feedback of going,
got?
is I want to ask, I also felt a release when I made it like like I put a sound to it, an A to it. Can you just explain like what is it about the that makes it so significant compared to actually using a sound?
Okay. Now we're going to get into some sound vibrations. Sound
Okay.
has phenomenal impact because, as with the letter H, it takes certain muscles to activate. It takes activating certain muscles to make every sound. So from that perspective, sound is always significant. So that's why, when you went and you audibly added that sound, so you basically exaggerated it to a degree. That's going to give an increased level of energy to that sound vibrationally. Also, it's going to activate the muscles that it takes to make that sound more assertively. So therefore, you wind up with quote unquote breakthroughs or reaching new plateaus and so on in that process. The sounds that we're going to be doing are going to be next strong because we're layering things on. First, I want you to get acclimated to the breathing techniques. Then this strong, what we're going to do is we're going to do movement. Because remember, one of our guiding principles as breath masters is that principle of Tai Chi, Qigong, and yoga, and all the other movement meditations of linking the breath to actual movement. All of your contracting movements primarily are done with the exhalation. All of the expansive movements primarily are done with the inhalation. So this is a consistent principle that we want to apply to movement, because as breath masters, what we turn around and do is we teach people how to move with their breath, instead of having to wait till they go to a yoga class, where a lot of yoga teachers aren't going to have them perpetually linking to the breath. We're teaching them how they can adapt that principle to day-to-day life. And that's how everybody becomes able to master the breath. When you master that basic principle, which we teach as breath masters to everyone that we encounter, whether we're level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1 billion, this is our primary focus and intent. And this is our primary gift to humanity as breath masters. Everything that we layer on is to expand that principle, period. Everything, even when we change into doing breath of fire and all of that stuff, bottom line, we're teaching people how to link breath to movement in order to be able to incorporate that into the day-to-day flow, and also making it part of their germane day-to-day experience. Can you imagine if everybody moved with the breath and actually was able to master the breath, and what kind of shifts that would be for humanity? So that's why we do this very simple but dynamic technique and practices. And again, we're going to have some more sound vibrations that we're going to incorporate that are very, very key to the expansion of spiritual vibration, our energetic vibration, and quote unquote, literally raising the vibration, because sound is vibration. And we do that in simple dynamic ways, raising the octaves and all that stuff. Again, that's next strong. I don't want to get ahead of us. I just want you to understand what you've actually stepped into with the whole sound vibration thing.
That makes sense. Last question. So would you recommend for me, because when I'm practicing, I'm really starting to practice the breath of fire, and you said something about going slower. Would you recommend me going, when I'm practicing, just keeping it slow until I can really find the rhythm, or continuously going or going faster and then just seeing how that improves over time?
Neither one of those.
Okay.
I suggest you play with it. Go fast, go slow, in between, make some waves with it, go up, go down and stuff. In order to actually allow your body to acclimate to it. Because if you are practicing, if you're trying to go from fast to going slow and your body doesn't acclimate to that readily, you're going to have some more stumbling blocks. And,
Okay.
and this is also where, you remember what I said about the It's for people who have an issue with acclimating to doing the breath of fire through their nostrils. Now, it also is beneficial for creating a rhythmic flow and also a dynamic adjustment to the pacing and rhythms of the breath of fire. Because it's much easier to go and create rhythms than it is to go if you haven't acclimated to the breath. Make sense?
Yeah.
And once your body, the mechanics of your body adjust to being able to be more nuanced with the in and out and the up and the down and the fast and the slow, physically, it won't make much of a difference whether you're doing it with the or the.
Okay.
That's what I've discovered, and I'm hoping that you will give yourself an opportunity to discover the same.
Absolutely.
Okay, we good?
We're good.
All right, now I got a couple of questions. Did you find anything quote unquote difficult?
In my practice?
Yes.
The breath of fire. I found that to be difficult because I'm just like how I showed you before. I had been doing the breath of fire, but I had been doing it at a very slower pace. So this is the first time I seen someone do it at a faster pace like that. So that was difficult for me to find that rhythm. Um, I expressed to you how like when I'm sometimes after like being like if like I'm this hyped, even this hyped to
Mhm.
going into uh the breath
Okay.
master technique,
Mhm.
it takes me at least like 3 to 4 breaths to really get into it.
Mhm.
It's like I need more oxygen almost, and maybe that has to do with my asthma or something. But I feel like I
Mhm.
need more air
Mhm.
before I can slow my breath down so much. It's like I'm not getting enough bef- before until like the third breath.
So, go ahead. Go ahead.
Um, I feel like those were my two main difficult parts, though.
Okay. I've spoken to the first one. So the second one, what I have to say about that is, it's not that you're not getting enough air. It's not you're not getting enough air quick enough. Because the
Okay.
thing of anxiety and having the asthmatic situation gives you clear understanding of this. What I learned having an asthmatic child is that, and I had something caused me to have to experience what it is that he goes through at one point where I literally could not get air in my lungs, and I had to do the pressure points and all of this kind of stuff and what have you. But anyway, what happens is, well, no, anxiety is a function of lack of oxygen.
Mm,
The body goes into a stressful state where it grabs oxygen as fast as it can. And in that, it's almost like having a convulsion where you can't really get adequate amounts. So you're grabbing in short amounts, as repetitively and as quick as possible. So that still keeps you in a high stressful state. But once you get to the point where you calm down, say if you're having a panic attack, classic scenario. A lot of people have panic attacks thinking they have a heart attack and they go to the hospital. They go to the hospital, they get sat in the emergency room and they have to wait. And in that time that they're waiting, they eventually calm down and they catch their breath and the anxiety attack goes away. But they still sit there and they want to get diagnosed, and then they diagnose them with having a panic attack or whatever, give them some type of something and send them on the way and charge them $3, $4, $5,000 for sitting in a waiting room. you know, so so this helps a lot of people who have that situation to not have to go through that traumatic event. Um, so what you want to do basically is two things. One, either just wait, and like you said, 3 breaths, you're good. So be patient with yourself. Or the other thing that I said, which was start with a and find whatever speed that your body is actually in. Whatever level or rate that your body is actually engaging the breath. Then
mhm.
slow it down. So you might be at a space where you're going, you might have to, or instead of, you might be in a space. So
Mhm.
engage the sound, the ch sound. So, and then on the back end, that last slow exhalation will slow you down and get you into a space where you can begin the breath master technique. So those are the two things that you can do to alleviate that scenario. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, good. All right. So that's pretty much it as far as our review. So let's get into the lessons of the day.
Great.
There are 3 primary body postures,
Mhm.
and we engage breath work in those 3 body postures, and then we develop movement in those postures in order for us to acclimate the breath to movement in the way that we move our bodies all the time. Those 3 body postures are lying. At the end of the day, we always land on our back.
Mhm.
Seated, sitting in the chair as we are now, doing work and what have you. And standing. And standing includes walking and running and all that stuff. On our feet. Those are the 3 body postures. So when we engage the breath in those postures, and then in turn engage the breath with movement in those postures, we basically are flowing into or adding the breath, linking the breath to our natural flow and movement that we engage throughout the day. And this foundational principle allows us to link the breath to all movement. And this is how we really, really get people to master the breath, and how we get ourselves to be consistent with mastering the breath. Because the other thing about this work is consistency, as in everything, is very crucial. And when we are doing our work, say if we're walking from the living room to the bedroom, the dining room, bathroom, and all this stuff, and we're engaging the breath in that process, we're doing our breath work, and we haven't separated ourselves from any aspect of our day-to-day life. The only difference is we might modify our movement by slowing it down just a bit, or speeding it up, or you might speed up the breath in order to flow with the natural flow of the movement slightly. So we're going to get into that today.
Okay.
So we already encountered one of the body postures, which is lying down, because we did the lying lotus. Okay. Now, the Breath of Life clinic that I shared with you that we did specifically in the lying lotus can be done in any body posture. So you can do that seated, you can do it while you're standing, So even though I may share a particular technique in a given body posture, it still can be utilized, addressed, adapted to any body posture. Okay. And most movements can be done that we do lying, we do seated and standing as well, or variations thereof. And now let me say also that one body position and modifications thereof is one of the greatest healing and transformational body positions. And people don't realize this. That is the fetal position. And the reason why is because that takes us back to the womb. Now you got the sound of the breath master technique taking you back to the womb. What else you got? The fetal position. So if you're in the fetal position, and this is why when people get like tragic analogy, Rodney King, being on that, he curled up into the fetal position. He started calling for his mother. He was trying to go back to pre-trauma phase. He was experiencing extreme trauma in the moment. The number one counterpoint for that is the total opposite: pre-trauma, pre-birth, back in the womb, where there's none of that stuff going on. So that is also a very healing position. A lot of people might, when they're stressed out or whatever, they can't deal with their life, they'll lay down and ball up in the fetal position. They're attempting to move back energetically to pre-trauma stage. So I'm not saying we need to tell everybody to go lay in the fetal position, but I just want to acknowledge that fact. And also, and my main reason for saying that is also because of the fact that we do a lot of exercises that are modifications thereof. And one of the exercises that we're going to do is, I call it the knee raise. Anytime you bring the knee up close to the chest, that's a modified fetal position. So people doing sit-ups, people doing leg lifts, those are modified fetal positions, which strengthen the core and also move a lot of energy. When we add the breath to it, we're taking it to another level and what have you. And we're also looking at the spiritual aspects of that particular posture and those modifications thereof, and the movement that's facilitated with the breath in our spirit. And these are things that, we don't necessarily say to people that we're working with. Everybody ain't ready to hear that. And also there's so much other stuff that we may not even get to that. I don't think I've expressed this in this way to any of the other students, simply because there's so much stuff and I meet people where they are, and then it's like whatever is in the ether for me to share is what comes through. And that's that. So let's get into, since we're seated, no, let's go according to the course of the day.
Okay.
So in the beginning of the day, what position are you in?
Lying down.
Exactly. So we're going to get into that, and we're going to do the knee raises, and there are three knee raises or three ways that we move our legs uh, generally, and this is what we're going to focus on. There's the straight knee raise, where we just bring the knee straight up to the chest. That's a straight knee raise. Then there's the side knee raise. So like if you turn and pivot, you're going to take your leg out to the side in order to make that turn. Also, there's a lot of opening of the hip that happens when you open your legs sideways. When you turn your body, opening the hip, turning the body sideways, you know, with that leg flow, leg movement. Then there's the pointed toe, because when you walk, you actually point your toe forward. So we're going to exaggerate that and just do a straight pointed toe knee raise. And when we actually, in this process, this is primarily what I'm going to share. Now, when I share the three different knee raises, what I want you to do is practice them and come up with your own sequence.
Okay.
And I would like to see that sequence now, you know, and that sequence will allow you to actually truncate the video that you're going to send me, because if you're doing all three of those while you're lying down and it takes like 2 or 3 minutes just to demonstrate those, then you don't have to send me a long drawn out video of all of the different aspects of that, because you're putting them all together. Now, there's some other stuff that I've done more advanced that I'm not going to share with you right now, as far as creating a flow with those movements. And this is where I am in my day-to-day, and some things that I want to share, but on the page. But I don't want to cause level 1 people to try to get ahead of themselves, or to ask a bunch of questions about stuff that they're not ready for as I lay the foundation. So I'm not putting those things on the group page. I'm thinking that I want to pull out the level 2 people and begin to add these things to their awareness. Matter of fact, I am. So let's get into that. And yeah, we're going to do lying, then we're going to get into the seated, and then the standing. So this is going to move along at a pretty decent clip once we get started.
Okay.
Go to speaker view. We can do that. You can put your hands, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, put your hands at your side like this, or on your chest, you know, anywhere that's comfortable. Here, palms up, palms down. Doesn't make that much of a difference, whatever is comfortable to you. I like to put my hands here. So remember, engaging the breath and movement. All contraction is done in the exhalation. All expansion is done in the inhalation. So right now our body is fully expanded. We want to start by filling our lungs up before we start our contraction. So tip of the tongue, move the mouth, curl it back, inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to bring our knee up. And when we bring our knee up, we want the leg to be, the calf to be perpendicular or parallel to the floor, and the thigh muscle perpendicular. Basically, you want to make that 90-degree angle. And also, if you notice, there's a 90-degree angle with the ankle as well. So exhale up, and then we're going to inhale down, and we're going to alternate going from one side to the other. You can do these alternating, or you can do them sequentially on one side and then shifting to the other side. Say, like if you want to do 10 on one side and then 10 on the other, you can either alternate 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, or 1 through 10 and 1 through 10 on the other side. Either way is fine, as long as you do it and as long as you make sure that you're balancing. The benefit of alternating is it actually engages the left and right hemispheres of the brain in a counterbalancing way, allowing for a balancing within the mind and brain itself, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so tip of the tongue, move the mouth, curl it back, inhale. We always start on the left. Exhale, bring the left leg up. At the pace of the breath. You want to try and make sure that when you finish the movement, it's the same time as you're finishing the inhalation. Release the tongue, drop the jaw. Excuse me. Exhalation. Yeah, okay. Tip of the tongue, move the mouth, curl it back, inhale down. Exhale, opposite leg, open the mouth wide. Curl the tongue back, inhale down, nice and slow. Exhale, right, left leg up. Curl the tongue back, inhale down. Exhale, right leg. Curl the tongue back, inhale down. Now, if you have limited time and you want to get a certain amount in, you don't have to move at the pace of a very slow breath. I suggest that you do a slow breath as you're acclimating. And also, if you're doing a strengthening and toning scenario, then you want to really slow it down, because the slower you move, the more you're going to allow the muscles to engage, and also do isometric toning or isotoning of the musculature. Okay, now we're going to engage, we're going to do the side knee raise. Now, the side knee raise is basically you're going to slide your foot. You're going to keep your foot on the floor and slide your foot out and bend the knee. And gradually, you're going to bring it up as high as possible. And what will happen is, in most cases, for some people, not all, is the foot will gradually come off the floor. So we don't want to start out with the foot off the floor. We want to slide and keep the foot on the floor as long as possible. And we actually want to turn that foot out to the side. So instead of having your foot like so, you want to turn that foot, and that's going to actually help. Because when you turn the foot, like if you're laying like this and you turn your foot to the side, automatically this hip joint is going to turn. And also the knee joint is going to turn. So this is a good opening for all of those joints as well. The ankle joint, the knee joint, and the hip joint. When you simply turn the foot out as you're coming here, that's going to make it way more dynamic than if you just slide the foot out. So we're going to turn the foot to the side, slide it all the way up until it comes off the floor. Then we're going to curl our tongue back, going to inhale down. We're going to allow the foot to hit the floor as soon as possible, still keeping the foot turned out to the side till we come back, and then we're going to rest back in the original position. And then the same thing on the opposite side. You with me?
Yep.
Okay. So the tongue, move the mouth, curl it back, inhale. Exhale, rotate the foot to the side, slide the foot out. Bringing the knee up as high as possible. Curl the tongue back, inhale, bring it back down, sliding it back in the original position. Exhale, bring the right foot out, same way, turn the toe out to the side. Sliding the foot. Bringing the knee up. Curl the tongue back, inhale, bring it back to the original position. Slide it down, back to center. Once again, left leg. Further back, inhale down. Right leg. Further back, inhale down. Left leg. Further back, inhale down. Making sure that foot is out to the side. Coming back to the original position. Exhale, right leg. Turning the foot out to the side, bringing the knee up. At the pace of the breath, nice and slow. Inhale, bring it back down. Okay, now we're going to go into the pointed toe. Are you with me? You okay?
I'm okay. Yep.
Okay. Any questions before we go on?
Just why do we start on the left side first?
Because we're in a right brain society.
Okay.
So we got to recalibrate and counterbalance from where we are. Now, if we were in a right brain society and everything was great, then we could start on either one. But since we're in a right brain society and everything isn't great, we want to counterbalance that by activating, we're in a left brain society. So we want to activate the right side by starting on the left in order to begin the balancing process. Because with all of this crazy stuff that's going on, we got to go to the opposite end of the spectrum before we can arrive back up at the middle. Make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because the other thing about everything is energy, and breath is the primary energy that's going to allow us to engage in life. So we want to utilize that and realize it as well as utilize it in the most dynamic way possible. Okay.
Okay.
So the pointed toe knee raise is this. You start with a straight knee raise. So you inhale, then you exhale, you bring the knee up, and then you're going to point the toe straight to the sky on the inhalation. And then you exhale, you're going to bring it back down to that 90-degree position. And we're going to repeat that 3 times. So instead of going down and then up and then up and then down, we're going to go up and then up, then down, then up, down, up, down, up 3 times. And then we're going to come down and then down. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. I mean, if you want to do the other one, you can, but I like to do it the simple way and get it done and move on to the next. Plus, that should give you an opportunity to really focus on the pointing of the toe and stretching all of these muscles and toning the muscles of the calf and the femur and all of that. So tip of the tongue, move your mouth, further back inhale. Exhale, bring the knee up, left leg. Inhale, point the toe toward the sky. Remember, at the pace of the breath, you're still moving slowly. Exhale, bring it back parallel to the floor. And when you're doing this, make sure you're activating the ankle joint dynamically. So when you bring it down, actually pull that joint, like as if you're pointing your big toe towards your face. Inhale, point the toe toward the sky. Get your ballerina on. Exhale, bring it back. Engaging the ankle joint. Inhale, point the toe one more time. Exhale, bring it back. As we inhale now, we're going to bring it back down to the floor, the original position. Exhale, right leg up. Calf parallel to the floor. Inhale, point the toe towards the sky. for the sky with that toe. Inhale, bring it back parallel. Excuse me, exhale, bring it back parallel. Dynamically engaging the ankle joint, feeling the stretch in the calf muscle. Inhale, point the toe toward the sky. Exhale, bring it back parallel. Last one, inhale, point the toe. Exhale, bring it back parallel to the floor. Inhale, bring it down. Pull the tongue back, inhale, bring it down. Those are your 3 knee raises done in a lying position. They're very basic, but as you can feel, they're very dynamic. Did you feel the tension in the calf and the femur muscles?
Oh, yes.
Did you feel
And
it
in my hips. Ooh.
Yeah, did you feel it in the hamstring and the quads as well?
Yep, I did.
What about in the ankle and the foot?
For sure, especially the foot for me. I felt it right here big time.
Yeah, a lot of people don't really move the ankle joint. So even lying in bed and just like what I said, like turn that foot out to the side, ankle rotations, full ankle rotations, really pushing that foot out to the side as if you're trying to get the little toe to touch the floor or the bed, and then rotating and really stretching, you know, because it's easier to come from having that foot way out to the side to really torquing it when you rotate and point the toe forward as you come around in your ankle rotation. So basically what I'm saying is this. Let's see. Really taking the foot out to the side, and then as you come around, pointing the toe dynamically, that's going to really engage the calf muscles, then coming and pulling it back as much as possible. A lot of people, a lot of their issues can change simply from doing that movement. Okay. So now let's get into the seated movement.
And let me go grab my chair.
Had to get mine with the back on it as well. So hey, we're back to back. Cool. Like that. So same movements. Now, in a seated position, if you're on a stool, obviously you can't lean back. If you're in a chair with a back, it's great. Also, most people are sitting in chairs with backs, so it allows you to really acclimate to the natural posture that people are in and on a regular basis. So when some people like to sit up like this, which is good, it's good posture. But when you're doing the knee raises, that makes it pretty tight in here, and you can't get the knee up so high. So we want to scoot forward just a bit so that we can do that Fat Joe thing. We can lean back. And when we do that, we give greater range of motion. You see the difference?
Mm-hmm.
See the difference?
Yeah.
That's crucial when you're guiding people through, you know, they call it chair yoga, seated movement, whatever you call it. And when you're doing the knee raises and what have you. So now one caveat, I don't typically do side knee raises, and people don't typically turn the leg out to the side while they're seated. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a seated lunge, which is going to, so we're going to turn our body to the side, and we're actually going to push our leg, the leg that's on the floor back, or well, not the leg that's on the floor, but the leg that's with the knee is pointing toward the floor. We're going to push that one back, and the other leg, we're just going to hold it in place as we extend the other leg back, and then we're going to alternate. We'll get into that. Okay, we're moving along at a good pace. Okay, getting everything in. Great. Now, same thing. Major thing, we want to keep our hands at our side in this.
Okay.
Because if you put your hands here, they're going to be in the way. You know, so if you put your hands in, also when we get just like when I shared with you the get-ups. When your hands are at your side, you have to engage the rest of the body more dynamically. You're not using your hands to prop yourself up or to hold you in place or to, you know, take some of the tension or strength that you're going to be needing to utilize for other parts of the body to move and engage fully and dynamically. So once again, tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth, curl it back, inhale. Exhale, left knee up. At the pace of the breath, nice and slow. And it's going to allow you to get it up even higher when you're doing it nice and slow. This is actually a fitness test also. When you got somebody, when you're starting out, if you're doing an analysis, you want to see how fit someone is, have them do this exercise. Most people, they come right here, especially if they got this right here. And this actually will squeeze that so that they can get out more crap, literally. So,
okay.
Okay. Through the tongue, roof of mouth, curl it back, inhale down. Exhale, right leg up, right knee up. You see how this is a modification of the fetal position?
Mm-hmm, definitely, yeah, that crunch.
Yep, curl it back, inhale down. Exhale, left leg up. Curl it back, inhale down. Exhale, right leg. Mouth closed, tip of the tongue, roof of mouth, curl it back, inhale down. Once more each side. Exhale, left leg. Inhale down. Exhale, right leg. Curl it back, inhale down. You good? Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't. You going on to the next one?
Yeah, you got me meditative. It's very meditative. I was in the zone.
There you go. That's right. In the zone, in the flow. Go ahead. Okay. For the sake of time, though, we got to move on.
Okay.
I want to get all of these in, and when you get your practice in, you can get into your meditation, and you can just flow and move all.
Can I ask just one question?
Sure.
So I just think about a lot of people in our community are quite large.
Mm-hmm.
So it's okay if they were to just do it's okay just to do a little bit and you're still getting those benefits if it's just this much.
If that's all they can do, yes. The critical thing is for them to be consistent and also to progress the movement. Because a lot of times, not only do people have this girth, they haven't really utilized the leg muscles and what have you. Because a lot of people when they're big, and the bigger they are, like the less leg movement they'll do, they may walk like this, you know. And then you got someone who's really big, they will lean and do this. So they're not bending their legs, so they're not really strengthening and toning these leg muscles. And then they wind up with a lot of knee issues because of the fact that their knees are basically just, they're not designed to not move. So instead of the leg just being a post where you rocking the side, one side, throwing the post here, and throwing, you know, you need to engage those muscles in order for the knee to be able to withstand all of the pressure of that weight. So even though they may start out there, you want to encourage them to get it higher and higher and higher. And the other thing about weight or waste is this, you know, weight is for bigger people is the accumulation of the waste that's built up in their body. And the only way you can lose weight is the opposite of the way you gain weight. And the way you gain weight is putting in more than you release. And the way you lose weight is releasing more than you put in. If you have weight to lose. And because basically when you're eating a balanced, I don't like to say diet, live it, then you are going to gain and lose all the time because you're gaining the weight of what it is that you're consuming. And when you evacuate, you're releasing the weight of what it is that you have consumed through the urinary tract as well as the digestive tract.
Wow.
So this is how we maintain balance. You release everything that you bring in and nothing stays behind. If more stays in, you expand. It's not natural. You counterbalance it by releasing more. And the way we do that with physical dynamics is by tightening this and minimizing the space for waste accumulation and also squeezing out. Remember what I said about the organs being bags along that digestive tube with an entry and exit? So you're squeezing more out of that exit than you're putting more into the entry point. And that's how people basically lose weight. So
and that is squeezing out the waste.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay.
And this is called the waistline.
Right.
Because it's the waist area. And, you know, when it comes to fashion, they changed the spelling and they put it W-A-I-S-T, but really it's W-A-S-T-E. You know, this is one of the ways that they play on words and trick psychology, but really our body, you know, in a subconscious and superconscious level, we already know, but we override that when we listen to these crazy people with all their words.
Wow. Okay.
See, the breath has you, give you time to think about all of this stuff. Yeah. So now we're going to do the pointed toe, and after that we're going to do the lunge because it's easier to just flow from the straight knee raise to the pointed toe, because the pointed toe, as you experience when we're lying down, engages the straight knee raise at the beginning. Okay. And now let me say also that since we are reclining, then we have the option of pointing our toe here or going up or really going up if we want, and to further engage these muscles. So depending upon what you want to do, you know, you might be getting ready to, you know, go on the beach and you want your legs to be really, you know, popping. So you're going to engage the calf, the hamstrings and the quadriceps more. So the way you do that is you bring the knee up higher and you point the toe at a higher angle. Okay. Let's go. Tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth, curl it back, inhale. Exhale, bring the left knee up. Inhale, point the toe straight forward at whatever angle you desire. Exhale, bring it back. Remember, engage that ankle joint.
Oh, yeah, I feel it.
Twice more. Inhale, point the toe. Exhale, bring it back. Inhale, point the toe. Exhale, bring it back. Inhale, bring it down.
Ooh.
A little bit of work, huh?
Yeah, it was.
All right, we got one more leg now. Come on, let's get back to work.
Okay.
Roll the tongue back, inhale. Exhale, bring your right knee up. Inhale, point the toe at whatever angle you desire. Exhale, bring it back. Nice movement in the ankle. Inhale, point the toe. Exhale, bring it back. Squeeze that breath out. Bring that knee up. Inhale, point the toe. Exhale, bring it back. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Inhale, bring it back down to the floor. The other reason why we do the lunges last is because of what you experienced in the tightening right here.
Yeah.
You want to open that space back up.
Okay.
So
Ooh.
with that, scoot back in your chair. Take your, we're gonna basically put your hands up, turn your body, put your left hand behind you, or you turn the other way. Put the other, whatever hand's close to the back of the chair behind you. Put your right hand in front between your legs. Lift yourself, turn. Scoot to the outside edge of the chair. Allow the outside leg to rest and basically contract you. So this is what you want to do. You got several 90-degree angles. You got the upper leg here, here, and then foot on the floor. And then you got the leg that's closest to the floor. Knee straight down, parallel, I mean, perpendicular to the floor. Calf and then ankle. So what we're going to do here, we're going to maintain contact with the chair. And we're going to inhale. And as with the other movements, we will inhale first. But since our first movement is an expansive movement and inhalation is an expansion, when we inhale, we're going to slide this foot back. And then we inhale, we're going to bring it forward. So, and the reason why we slide away from the edge of the chair so much is so that we give ourselves room in order to be able to dynamically stretch this foot back as much as possible. Okay?
Okay.
So tip of the tongue, move the mouth, curl it back, inhale, slide the foot back. Now you can have the toe on the floor, or you can slide the foot like so. Put the toe, the top of the toe on the floor. Try not to use your hands so much. You basically want to hold yourself in place with that, not so much pushing with that.
Okay.
Go back, inhale, bring your leg forward. Excuse me, there was exhalation. I apologize, there's an exhalation. Throw the tongue back, inhale, slide it back. Exhale, bring it forward. Throw the tongue back, inhale, slide it back. Really want to feel the stretch in here. If you want, you can lean back with it as well. But I would say lean back after you got the leg stretched, then lean back with it and lift the chest toward the sky. Exhale, bring it back forward. Now with the hands still in the same position, lift your body, turn, Face forward. Bring your hands around, change your hand positions. Hand that was in the back and the front, hands in the front and the back, and lift yourself and turn the body so you're facing the opposite direction.
Okay.
Now we're going to stretch this leg. Tip of the tongue, roof of the mouth, curl it back, inhale, slide the foot back. Lift the chest toward the sky. Really opening the chest. Release the tongue, drop the jaw, exhale back. Inhale, slide the toe back, nice and gentle. Lifting the chest. Release the tongue, drop the jaw, exhale, bring your leg forward. Once more, inhale back. Lifting the chest for maximum expansion. Exhale, bring it forward. Okay, turn yourself back around. That completes the 3 seated knee raises, or the 2 knee raises and the lunge. How you like that?
That was really great. I'm definitely going to need to practice the last one, especially when it comes to doing the breath master technique, because just now I felt like, almost when you're like doing a light exercise, your heart starts beating faster. So you want to take in more air. So I felt like I need more air, but I think that's because I'm just not used to doing that movement and that breath together.
Yeah, and also you're not accustomed to moving that slow with the breath, because most asthmatics, like I said, they're constantly trying to get air, so they're, it's like you're trying to grab, you're not taking the time to really just, expand and just grab a whole armful. You're grabbing a little at a time like this, that's what you're accustomed to. So it takes a whole different dynamic to open up wide and take the time to open wide, and then really get as much as you can, if that analogy works. And then with the addition of lifting the chest as you're pushing the leg back, or after you've pushed the leg back most, if not all the way, gives you more expansive room. So the other aspect of this, which comes to mind, is that you haven't used that part of your lungs.
Oh.
So now they're getting reconditioned, and it's new space that's unaccustomed to that much air.
Yeah.
So at that point, it's ready to engage and do what it normally does, which is the opposite, which is to release so that it can then start over again. So this is a reconditioning process, and the more you do it, the more you're reconditioning and the more you're aligning with your higher self.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, wow.
Oh man, we're making good time. So let me say this about this overall process. I'm giving you a lot of things incrementally, and over each 7-day period, the more you apply them, the more it becomes germane and the easier it is to flow into the next portion. So what happens with some people is they see these few little simple things and they'll run past it and what have you, like, oh, I got that, no, I got that. And they don't really embrace the dynamic of what happens when you do it at the pace that I'm sharing it, and the other aspect of this, as far as what's being ingrained in you in that process, is you're expanding your experience. Your experience becomes so expansive that you have those breakthroughs, which are talking points for when you get ready to share this information with other people and its insights into what they may be experiencing. Because remember what I said, as an instructor, all you are is a guide leading people through their experience. And the best way to connect them to the experience that we have is guiding them with the practice and also sharing our experience. So the richer our experience, the better we are able to convey the practice and augment the next person's experience. Okay, so we really want to take our time with this process from strong to strong to strong, and take it full advantage of that layering process. So if you might if you might feel like you need to practice the breath master technique and isolation without movement, do that, but don't get stuck there.
Okay.
You know, because it's like I said, the principle of tying that breath to movement. And there are times where you want to move from a frantic state into a meditative state, but you can't stop doing what you're doing.
Right.
So you add the breath to it, you slow down a bit, you get into that meditative state, and you take advantage of the release of those endorphins and those other stress hormones, and bring back and counterbalance them with, you know, the serotonin and all of those mellower hormones that come when you're in a more meditative state. Okay.
Okay.
So now we're going to do standing. Now this is, quote unquote, a serious balancing act. Because when you stand on one leg, it's a balancing act. But then when you stand on one leg and you're doing all of this movement, it's a whole nother thing going, because you raise this leg, you might want to lean over and all this kind of stuff. So it's a serious balancing act. And the thing about it is making sure that the standing foot is really planted. And also that as you bring whatever leg that you're bringing up, the standing leg, in order to really plant the foot, you want to bend the knee, you want to tuck the hip. So you got several different things going on. You got the ankle joint, the knee joint, and the hip joint that are being engaged in this process. And the more you engage all of those, the more firm you're going to plant the foot, and the easier it's going to be to raise the opposite leg and to do whatever you want to do with that opposite leg. Let's try this way. So 3 knee raises. Now we're going to do all 3 from this position. We're not going to do the lunge, do that in the chair, but if you want to do the lunge, you know, you can. And if you want me to actually share that video with you at some point, just let me know. I'll send you that video.
Okay.
Okay, so tip of the tongue, move for the mouth, curl it back. Inhale. Exhale, bring the left knee up. Excuse me. Exhale, shift the weight to the right foot. Begin bringing the knee up. And as you're bringing this knee up, you're bending the right knee and tucking the hip. So you got almost like levers that are moving the body. So exhale, bring it up. Remember, the more you plant the foot by bending this knee, the standing knee, and tucking the hip, the more it's going to allow you to stand balanced. Curl the tongue back, inhale down. And you're going to reverse the movement. Straightening the knee, straightening the hip. Shift the weight to the left leg, exhale, right leg up. Bending the left knee, tucking the hip. Curl the tongue back, inhale down. Shift to the right leg. Exhale, left knee up. Bending the right knee, tucking the hip. The longer you extend the exhalation, the more you can bring the knee up higher. Curl the tongue back, inhale down. Shift to the left leg. Exhale, bring the right knee up. Bending the left knee, tucking the hip. Pull it back, inhale down. Once more each side. Exhale, left leg up. Pull it back, inhale down. Exhale, right leg, shift to the left. Very good. Pull it back, inhale down. Any questions before we move on?
Should my belly be kept kind of loose until I'm in the actual contraction?
Let it do what it do.
Okay.
Now, as time goes on, it's going to get tighter and tighter and tighter because you're activating these muscles more and more. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're going to move. Now the side knee raise is kind of awkward. So when we do the side knee raise, we're going to turn our foot out to the side. We're going to bring that knee up. We're going to bend this knee and tuck the hip still. And so our hands normally at our side. As you turn the body, the hand on the side that you're turning toward typically will go behind you, and the other hand will wind up in the front. Then you inhale, you come back down, and then you go to the opposite side, turning the foot out and bringing the knee up. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now remember, bending the knee and tucking the hip are crucial because you want to really plant that foot that you're standing on. Okay? Tip of the tongue, move from the mouth, curl it back, inhale. Lean, put the weight on the right foot. Exhale, turn the left foot out, bringing the knee out and up. Bend that knee a little more. There you go. You may find that your body's twisting just a bit.
Yeah.
Curl the tongue back, inhale down, and allow that to happen. Exhale, shift the weight to the left foot, turn the right foot out, knee goes up. Curl the tongue back, inhale back to the original position. Shift the weight back to the opposite leg. Notice that when you turn that foot out once again, it helps to open the hip joint and really activates the knee as well. Curl the tongue back, inhale down. It makes for a more fluid movement as well. Exhale, shift the weight to the left foot, turn the right foot out, and bring the knee up. Curl the tongue back, inhale down. Once more each side. Left leg. Inhale down. Shift to the left. Right foot turns out. Exhale. Inhale, bring it back down. How was that?
That one was also very meditative for me. Very nice. I really feel like I could really match my movement and my breath with that one.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, that's the most difficult.
No, I like that one. Was good for me.
Fantastic. Okay, we're good there. Now, last one, pointed toe. Same as in the lying position, same as in the seated position. We're gonna exhale, straight leg, we're gonna bring it, exhale, the knee up, inhale, point the toe out. We're gonna do this 3 times. Now, can you imagine doing that 15 times? When I
Wow.
first started doing this and I was developing these exercises, I was doing everything 15 times.
Mm.
Side knee raise 15 times, each side, yada, yada, yada. I mean, I was, and then pointed toe, just standing there, pointing toe, pointing toe. That, you're gonna experience, that is some serious work, okay? So, tip of the tongue, move the mouth, curl it back, inhale. Shifting the weight to the right foot, exhale, bring the left knee up. Bending the right knee, tucking the. Inhale, point the toe straight forward. Exhale, bring it back. 3 times. Before we take it back down. Inhale, point the toe. Exhale, bring it back. Inhale, point the toe. Exhale, bring it back. Was that 3 times or that 2 times?
That was 3.
Inhale, bring it back down. Shift the weight to the left leg. Exhale, bring the right leg up. Tuck in the left knee. Bending the left knee, tuck in the hip. Inhale, point the toe. Exhale, bring it back. Inhale, point the toe. Exhale, bring it back. Inhale, point the toe. Exhale, bring it back. Inhale, bring it down. How'd you like that?
Oh, that was a challenge, but I am feeling balanced, really balanced and grounded on both sides of me. But it's definitely I definitely need to work on that connection with the breath in that one because I didn't find myself flowing as easily.
The other thing about that is the fact that the pointing the toe is such a short movement that, extending the breath a long time as you're doing that short movement, and then the fact that it's so much, it requires so much strength that you really want to just put the toe out there and not try to do it all meditatively, extremely slow.
Right.
That dynamic plays into adjusting the breath to that. So I acknowledge that. And that's also one of those moves where I say, you may not want to go as slow, especially if in the beginning stages where you're beginning to strengthen those muscles. And that's not a natural movement. I mean, that's part of the whole natural flow of you raising the leg, pointing the toe forward and what have you, but you don't walk by sticking your leg way out here and all of that stuff. And the other thing about the knee raises in particular, and this is where another part of society kind of throws us off and also affects how much weight we carry here. Walking upstairs is basically walking uphill. When you're walking up a hill, you don't take, these little short steps. Steps are designed 8 to 10 inches in height. If you're walking up a hill, you don't do these 8-inch steps. You take a stride as you're going uphill. You're stretching your legs and you're reaching your foot forward several feet, 2 to 3 feet minimum. And when you're doing that, you got to raise this leg up and you got to really engage those muscles in order to take that big step going. And then you engage those muscles, you're pushing yourself uphill. So that's a lot of actual work that's happening dynamically and mechanically that we don't do when we're in the house and we're walking up these little tiny steps. So this allows for a lot of people to really gain more girth. I'll keep wanting to sit down. I got some more stuff to do here. Now, we'll give you an additional exercise. Actually, two. We're going to do one, which I call a knee raise march, which mimics walking around the house. But I call it a march because we're going to slow it down. We're going to engage the breath, and it's going to look like what you see on the football field during halftime with the drum majors and majorettes doing this thing that they do when they're marching.
Yep.
So the knee raise march is basically a knee raise, and then after you get the leg up, you're gonna step forward. So you're walking in slow motion, and you're engaging the breath in the process. Okay. So tip of the tongue, move the mouth, curl it back, inhale. Exhale, left leg up. Inhale, bring it down, stepping forward. Exhale, bring the weight to the right, to the left foot, lean forward. Exhale, bring the right leg up. Inhale, step forward. Bring it down. Lifting the weight to the right foot. Exhale, bring it forward, bring it up, left leg up. Inhale, stepping forward. And continue. Stepping around, which I have to do. Exhale, bring the right leg up. Inhale, stepping forward. Get the weight to the right foot. Exhale, bring the left leg up. Inhale, step it forward. Get the weight to the left leg. Exhale, bring the right leg up. Inhale, step it forward. Sounds like you're exhaling as you're bringing it down.
Oh, I was.
Okay, you want to be mindful of that.
Okay.
That's an expansive movement. As you bring the leg down, it's expansive movement. So exhale, bring it up, contract it. Inhale, step it down. So,
Okay, I see. Okay.
Just be mindful. Because typically a lot of people, when they're exercising, they're doing inhalation as they're bringing their leg up. And this is actually counterintuitive to the way the body functions, which again is the way that they get us to move out of our natural way of being. Now, there's some dynamic things that happens when you do opposite movement intentionally, because basically you're recalibrating energy if you're doing it intentionally and mindful and fully aware that this is an exercise that I'm using to do X, Y, Z. You know, because you might be wound too tight and you might need to unwind. So anytime you wound too tight, you do the opposite of unwinding. You take the movement in the opposite direction of the natural flow. It's a simple principle. I mean, it's a whole lot of different little things I can explain that can point out, but that's the basic principle. So you apply that principle when necessary if you want to get a certain outcome. And this is what you find with a lot of the yogic practices when they're doing opposite, what do they call it? They don't call it opposite, but I forgot what they call the term. But anyway, when you're doing the breath, the opposite of the way that you reverse breathing, that's what they call it. When you're doing reverse breathing. Unfortunately, we're doing reverse breathing almost all the time in today's society and not doing it intentionally to get an outcome, but we're basically being undermined on a sub and superconscious level by doing what we're told that's opposite of what we are supposed, we're naturally designed to do. So anyway, the next one, this is very simple. Say you want to bend down and pick something up. It's all the way down on the floor. So you're gonna do a forward bend. Do that with the breath. You just, since this is the forward bend and it's a truncated movement, what are you doing as you're coming down? As far as the breath is concerned, what are you doing as you're coming forward?
As you're exhaling as you're going down.
Exactly. And then when you get ready to come back up, what are you doing?
You're inhaling.
Exactly. So that's the forward bend. And this is a very dynamic exercise because if you repeat this exercise, and the thing about what makes any type of bodily movement and exercise is doing them repetitively. Because then you can do sets and reps. You do reps, and then you can do sets of different sets of movement and have more dynamic physical outcome in the way of strengthening our body. And also what we don't pay a lot of attention to is opening of the joints. Okay?
Okay.
So tip of the tongue, move the mouth, curl it back, inhale. Feet slightly apart. Exhale, lean forward. Falling forward so the hands touch the floor or wherever you can get them. Pull the tongue back, inhale up at the pace of the breath. Exhale, lean forward. Inhale, come back up. Release the tongue, drop the jaw, exhale with up. As you fall forward. Close the tongue back, mouth closed. Inhale up at the pace of the breath. How is that?
That one was also really nice and meditative for me.
Now you know what's causing that meditative state?
What? I don't. Is it besides the breath?
Exactly.
Okay.
Perfect answer for a breath master. Breath master technique is causing that because when you slow down, you get into more of a calm state. The breath allows for that. And when you slow down dynamically, because when the yogis and the gurus and the Tibetan monks are meditating, what are they doing? And when it comes to the breath?
They're very slow.
Slow and deep, full breath.
Very deep. Yes, full deep breaths. Yeah, that's true.
And anytime you're doing a slow, deep, full breath, that is a meditation. The breath is meditation.
Mm-hmm.
Short and fast, fight or flight. Slow and deep, meditation, automatically. Relaxation, meditation, which is why I call this part of the lungs, the upper part, I call it, I mean, you heard the term fight or flight region, because this region facilitates fight or flight. And the lower portion, some people say rest and relaxation. I say relaxation meditation, because it facilitates meditation and relaxation when you really expand the lungs down into the abdominal cavity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, man, we're right on time. It's 1:30, hour and 31 minutes. And so any questions, any observations, any statements?
So just by what you just said, just because I'm noticing, like, when I'm deep breathing, I feel calm, I feel grounded, right? When I'm really using that abdomen breath. And then when I bring it up here, just like what you said, like I let the breath come up here, I feel the emotions. I feel an emotion. So I just wanted to know your opinion on that.
Release. your body is moving into a different space as far as the expansiveness of the lungs. You're activating the emotions through massaging the organs. I think I said this before. Remember that when you do a slow, deep, methodical breath, you're massaging the organs, which house the energy for emotion. So you, in turn, are doing an emotional massage.
Even though it's up here when I feel the emotion, and down here when I squeeze, I feel grounded. I feel like, oh, I'm centered. But when I here, I feel the emotion.
Because you're bringing them up.
I see.
The term, you know the term up and out?
Yes.
So when you're processing things, you know, and you just experienced this going through the rites process, a lot of things came up so that you could move through them and so that you can move beyond them, so that basically you could express them, so you can release them. So up and out. So when you're massaging the down here, it's going to bring those things. And as the oxygen comes up, metaphorically speaking, and physiologically speaking, it's moving up so that it can move out. Because after you do that full inhalation, what do you do next?
Exhale.
And the exhalation is a what?
Release.
Exactly.
That makes sense. Okay, that makes sense.
Great job on the emotional massage. Girl, you doing the thing. That's all right.
I just wanted to be clear because that is a big part, you know, the emotional connection is a big part to breath work for me. So I just want to be super clear on that. And last question. Oh, so for the video for this week is connecting all of the movements that we did today. Is that what you meant? Like finding a sequence for those to go all together?
However you want to do it.
Okay.
Just be as complete as possible. Last strong, you didn't send me one on the get-ups.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah. And next strong, we're going to get into sound vibration and a little more movement. We've been doing internal work. We started with the internal with just the breath, and then we moved from internal and lower portion of the body. Next strong, we're going to engage the upper part of the body a bit, and we're going to really get into the sound vibrations, and you're going to experience the dynamic of what kind of movement the sound vibration makes, and the expansion that comes with that, and the options that you get. Now, as far as when you practice this, you want to do sets and reps. Remember, there's 3 different knee raises. I like to do things in multiples of 3. 3. It's easy to count to 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Also, excuse me, if you want to go ahead and do 10, a lot of times when you're doing this slow meditative movement and what have you, you're not thinking about the count. It's easy to lose count. So what I do, like if I'm on my back and what have you, I'll tap one finger for 1, then the next finger I'll tap 2, so on and so forth. And when I get to the 10th finger, I know I've done 10, even though I may have, if I didn't do that, I may count to 8 or, you know, think I'm on 11. But, you know, when I'm using my fingers, then I know that once I get to the 10th finger, I can move on to the next exercise. So that will help you with making sure that you're balanced in your numbers and doing 3 on the left, 3 on the right, yada, yada, yada. Okay? I think that pretty much does it for today's session. So I'm going to stop the recording so that, you know, it won't be forever. And if there's anything else after this, we can go ahead and you can ask me whatever. I think we got the gist of what you need for this lesson, though.